Kotlin Flow is a stream of data that can be computed asynchronously, uses suspended functions to consume and produce in an asynchronous manner. It is constructed using coroutines. As shown in Flow, we have a producer that produces data that is added to the stream, and intermediate which can modify each value emitted into the stream or the stream itself without consuming the values, and consumers or collector consumes the values from the stream. Types of flow. Hot flow, it will produce values even if no one is collecting them, as shown, such as StateFlow and SharedFlow. Second type called flow, it doesn't start producing values until one starts to collect them, as shown. Creating a flow and consuming values. We should note that Room, Data Store, Paging 3, and other various libraries provide support for flow and acts as a producers. No need for building a flow manually. Creating a flow, we use flow operators. Like in this example, numbers flow of type flow integer, repeat for 60 times, and emit its values and adding one every time, and delay 1 second for the coroutine suspense. To collect flow, we use a collect operator. But first you will launch a coroutine because flow operates on coroutines under the hood, as shown with the life cycle scope and launching a coroutine. Collecting flow from view. In activity, we collect flow inside a coroutine life cycle scope.launch, and we call repeat on life cycle with parameter life cycle state that started, and inside it we collect flow from view model dot flow, and we should notice that for fragment we replace life cycle scope with view life cycle owner dot life cycle scope, and we replace repeat on life cycle with view life cycle owner dot repeat on life cycle. We need to call repeat on life cycle to collect flow safely when the life cycle state is in started state. It requires the life cycle dot state as a parameter. When the life cycle reaches the state, it immediately creates and launches a new coroutine with the block supplied to it, and it cancels the ongoing coroutine that is running the block when the life cycle falls below that state. Collect flow in combos. To collect flow in combos, we need collect as state with life cycle function. We observe value some flow by view model dot flow dot collect as state with life cycle. Combos provide the collect as state with life cycle function, which collects values from a flow and gives the latest value to be used. When a new value is emitted, we get the updated value and recomposition takes place to update the state of that value. StateFlow. StateFlow manage and represent a state in an application. It is a hot flow and it needs an initial value. For example, StateFlow equal mutable state flow with initial value 0. The only value that is emitted is the latest known value, and it doesn't emit repeated values. When the value differs from the previous item, it emits that value. And we can use a state_in operator to convert cold flow into hot flow and returns state flow. SharedFlow. By default, it doesn't emit any value since it doesn't need an initial value. We can create its variable like shared flow equal mutable shared flow of type integer, and with a replay operator, it is possible to emit many previous values at once. The emitter emits all the values without caring about the differences from the previous item, and it emits a repeated value. It is useful for broadcasting events that happen inside an application to subscribers that can come and go. We can use the share-in operator to convert cold flow into hot flows and return is shared flow. An example for Android Jetpack Campus StateFlow. In this project, we are going to get data from a remote server as shown. Pressing load button, a circular progress indicator will be displayed, and after 2 seconds, an string or our data will be fetched. Here we are going to create a UI screen data class. Inside it, we have our state variable, a Boolean variable, call it is loading, responsible for showing or not showing our circle progress indicator, and a string variable, call it network data, for displaying our data. And inside our main view, we will define a private variable, call it underscore UI state, equal mutable state flow of type our data class, and a public variable, call it UI state, equal underscore UI state as state flow. And by pressing our load button, we will call loading data function for our main view model. Inside this function, we will fetch our data, and before fetching our data, we will enable our circular progress indicator, and after fetching our data, we will disable our circular indicator and update our network data variable. And in our composable function, we will collect our StateFlow using collect as state function. Here we will define screen UI variable equal to main view model.ui state.collect as state, and we will get our boolean variable is loading equal screen UI dot is loading. When it is true, load our circle progress indicator, else update our network data variable as shown. We should notice that by changing our app configuration, our data will be fetched and not lost as shown. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe my channel.